everybody. This is the Bark Night Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick.
And I'm Dan.
And today we are going to be discussing the recent Rotten Tomatoes article that was released of the 25 best films of the last 25 years.
Yes, sir.
So, this was Dan's idea for an episode, so I'm going to let him lead a lot of going through that list and talking about just kind of what we think of the list of the movies. Towards the end, we'll start to realize things that didn't make the list, and we can sort of analyze things as we go through it. Before we get into that, Dan, do you have any predictions you wanted to talk about? What you think we're going to see on this list, or what maybe audiences can prepare themselves for?
I think we're going to see not as many like the animated movies. I'm pretty sure I skimmed the list earlier to write it down. And I'm pretty sure I was surprised by how few of those were on there. I know you said you're not a big animated movie guy, but it feels like there's been a lot of good ones in the last bunch of years, and I don't think there's going to be too much representation on this list. So
I kind of feel like I'm never going to live down the animated movie thing that I said last episode.
It's on the internet
I've thought about that. I know it is. And like every time I see somebody share something online that's animated, I'm like, oh my God, why did I even say that?
People are going to hate you now. Not hate you, but they're going to judge you.
As we came up with this idea, I started jotting down what the 25 movies I would put on my own list. And what I'm kind of finding is, for my list, there's a lot of similar actors, directors, and whatnot that I see in a lot of these things. Like, I mean, everybody expects to see, they're going to see some Leonardo DiCaprio on it. I expect some Christopher Nolan. Probably a couple movies.
I would think so. The man's been probably the best director of the last. Well, not that's a big statement, but he's been really prevalent in the last 25 years.
I think so. You look at his movies, and he really hasn't made a bad movie.
No. And
I mean, the last 25 years he's been making movies since the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, so, I can't think what his first movie was, but I know like the Batman Begins is the first time I recognized him, and that was 2005, 6-ish, somewhere in there.
I started watching his movies, I think, in high school, and I started with Memento.
Memento, okay, that is him. I was wondering. I had forgotten. Yep.
You got Memento, you've got Insomnia with Al Pacino and Robin Williams.
I like that one.
Yep. And then I think The Prestige was after that. But then you start to get into like his really good movies, like The Prestige, Inception,
Dunkirk.
A lot of those. You got the Dark Knight trilogy, Dunkirk.
Mm-hmm.
So he's made some really, really good movies, and I mean, like Inception has to be on this list. I think it's going to be on my list, but Inception is I think one of the greatest movies ever made. So if it wasn't on this list, it would kind of blow my mind. But it would blow my mind if there was no Christopher Nolan on this.
I think you're going to be safe with that. I don't think he's going to show up.
Right. Martin Scorsese, definitely going to be on the list.
You would think.
You would think. Christian Bale, definitely.
He'll be here. Yeah, sure. Denis Villeneuve, he'll be on here, I'm sure. So it'll be a lot of Oscar movies on this list, I think. And
yeah, I mean, Denis Villeneuve, he's like, even before you hit the Dune movies, Prisoners, Sicario, and Enemy, Arrival, like one of those movies has to have made it.
Right.
So tell me this. Contextualize this list for me. Like, how did they come up with this list? Is this something somebody set, or is this like literally they're just best rated movies?
This is, they said, a celebration of Rotten Tomatoes' 25th anniversary. They asked critics to submit their top films and TV shows released in the top 25 years. This is a collection of those ratings from critics over the last 25 years, and then a editor made it into a list. He took all the information and made a list out of it, is what I'm seeing here.
And when was it posted?
It may have been 10 months ago and then reposted a month ago.
Okay, cool.
All right, so you want to jump into this?
Let's jump into it. Let's see what we got going.
All right, buddy. So, first off, at number 25, funny enough, is Arrival by Denis
Here we go.
Villeneuve, Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner. Movie all about aliens coming to Earth, and we're trying to find a way to communicate with them. And really, it's about communication. That movie is just about trying to find, a link. Yes, would be the best way to put it. And yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I'm not surprised it's on here. What do you think?
I love Arrival. I've not seen it too many times. I've only seen it once or twice. It's
him.
not my favorite of Denis Villeneuve's.
No.
I think my favorite of his would probably be Prisoners.
That's
I
a
think
good
the
movie.
best of his is Sicario.
Oh yeah, I do like Sicario quite a bit. He did Blade Runner 20 whatever the heck, right?
Blade Runner 2049, he did.
I've been putting those off because I haven't seen the first Blade Runner yet. I need to get those taken care of.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll bring the 4K with me on our Philly trip in a few weeks.
That'd be fun. Be nice to knock that out finally. That has been a black eye on my resume too.
Yeah. I know Adam said he didn't like that one. I've wondered which version he saw, because there's like 3 or 4 different versions of that movie, because like it's like one of those where you know, there's a lot of movies out there like that, Apocalypse Now, where there's like 3 or 4 different versions, because they did the director's cut, but then the director's cut, like with Apocalypse Now, there's a regular version, and then there's a director's cut that adds a ton onto it. And what the director ended up saying years later is like, yeah, we probably added a bunch of stuff we didn't need to add to it for that director's cut. So then they did like a final cut or whatever. And so Blade Runner has that as well, where there's like just a bunch of different versions.
I've heard that. And that's part of the reason why I haven't watched it, is I didn't want to watch the lesser version, I guess. But if you know what the white one is, I'll gladly watch that with you. All right, anything else on Arrival, or do you want to go to the next one?
No, I don't think I have anything else for them.
All right. Coming in at number 24 from 2018, we got Black Panther.
Panther made the list.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler, obviously Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan. Marvel movie, which there's been a bunch of those in the last 25 years. And I'm not surprised that Black Panther's on here. It's fantastic. It's better the more times you watch it, I think.
Yeah, Black Panther's awesome.
It is.
It surprises me. I have at least one Marvel movie on my list. It kind of surprises me to see Marvel movies on this list, with it being a critic curated list.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the Marvel movies have been they've basically been what's been making money at the box office for the last 20 years.
I'd say they've been driving the movie business, at least for people going to theaters. Absolutely, they've been the driving force.
There's a reason people have argue a lot about them, because there's 2 trains of thought. Kind of, there's the, they are the only reason theaters are still here crowd, but there's also the crowd that's like, well, Marvel movies trained the audience to expect a certain amount of spectacle, and now low budget movies don't get to the theater, which I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's a lot of low budget movies that make it to the theater. I mean, you and I saw
History of
Violent Nature.
Violent Nature, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That was made for like what, $1 million or something, or
maybe that. Yeah, it was all on that one kill too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that what I have to say is that I'm surprised to see them putting Marvel movies on the list. But I think that sets it up to be, I guess, a good list.
Well, I don't want to shortchange you here, but I can let you know that that's the only Marvel movie that appears on this list.
That's the only one?
That's the only one. Just Black Panther.
Wow. If I had only one Marvel movie to put on a list like this, I don't know if it'd be Black Panther. But with that being said, it would
be in the running, at least?
I'll just say right now that I only have one Marvel movie on mine, and it's not Black Panther. So
that's fair.
I'll just put it that way. But Black Panther probably would be up there. It's up there as like probably a top 3 Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's like Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Endgame.
Yeah. Guardians is really good too.
Guardians is very good. Yeah. Guardians is very good.
Keep throwing curveballs at you.
I know it's a lot to think about. I mean, when you're creating a list like this, you have to sort of compartmentalize things. Like I was thinking a lot about this, and I'm like, oh my god, like there's probably 5 really great westerns that have been released in the last 25 years.
Do you want all of them
you
on your
put
list? Do you just pick
westerns
one
on a list like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking
You
too. Like,
can.
then you just pick one from that genre because you want to have a good cross section of everything? Yeah, my brain goes to that too, like that way of thinking. But yeah,
because you want to mix things up a little bit.
no,
I think you can have 2 or 3 westerns on the list, but I
oh
don't
sure,
think you can have 5.
yeah. All right, you ready for this next one?
Let's do it.
All right, at number 23, they have Paddington 2, released in 2017. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not seen Paddington 1 or 2, so I can't really touch on it. What about you?
I have seen both, and I will tell you, they're damn good movies.
I've heard they're good.
You should watch them because they're an absolute pleasure to watch. And like just even talking about it, like it almost
You're
makes
smiling.
you want to watch.
You got a big old smile on your
telling
face immediately when you said that.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Paddington 2 is a great movie.
All right, I'll have to watch it.
And they're supposed to be making a third one, and I think I'll go and see that too.
I think it's like Paddington in Brazil or something like that. I think is the title. I've seen rumors or at least notes about it.
I don't think he's from Brazil. He might be from Peru. I want to
Maybe.
say.
Yeah,
But
that would check
I
out.
don't remember exactly, but yeah, I mean you're right on the money in that it's a that's where he's from, and so it's like a fish out of water thing where he's a bear in a city and he's a bear that can talk and like a family takes him in, but there's also people out there trying to take advantage of him and so on and so forth. I actually saw an interview. It's funny that you bring this one up. I saw an interview with Hugh Grant from I don't know last weekend I think. And it's him talking about his favorite movie to work on, and he said it's Paddington 2. He said the whole movie is like it holds a special place in his heart. It's like one of the movies he's most proud of, and like it's a great movie. You should watch it.
I need to watch it then. I mean, my niece and nephew are gonna be coming up for the holidays, and we always try to find something to watch. So that'd be a good one to put on, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
At number 22, they have The Tree of Life from 2011, directed by Terrence Malick, starring Brad Pitt and Sean Penn. And I have not seen this movie, nor do I know much about it. So I feel like I kind of Googled it a bit, and I just kind of bounced off of it. Have you seen this movie? Do you know of it?
I have not seen this movie, so I don't have much to say about it. But I think one of the aspects of the plot was that Brad Pitt was like an abusive father or something. His character is. And that's really all I remember.
All right, yeah, I wish I had something for it. I gave it a quick Google, and that's pretty much what the synopsis was. It's just there was.
I tend to not gravitate towards movies like that about like abusive parents and whatnot.
Yeah, me neither.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't
really
to say about that one
enjoy movies about people getting like abused or bullied or anything like that. Like I don't. That's it.
So that's
it's
like,
not the horror that I'm into,
No, exactly. So if I do when we do our list, I'm going to tell you right now that movie's not going to be on there just because if I'm going to put a movie on my list, I'm going to want to watch it, And
it was a big Oscar contender at the time. It might have won some awards, but
I'm sure it did. Probably.
I've never been too interested in watching it.
Yeah, same here. All right, let's just move past that one. Then we're not going to see all of them, obviously. But number 21. Speaking of Brad Pitt, number 21 is Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds is an awesome movie, and it's probably going to be on my list. I have no idea where.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Quentin Tarantino is one of those directors that you're like, all right, I can't just put his whole
but every movie you put out,
5 years.
Yeah.
So you've got to pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that, like, what do we have? We've got Inglourious Basterds, Kill Bill,
Django,
Once Upon a Time in America, or not America,
Hollywood, yep.
Django Unchained, Hateful Eight. So, I mean, Western-wise, you got to look at Django. And this is some of the stuff I've been thinking about. Like, okay, I can't put all those on there.
No.
So what am I going to put on there? I can't put both Westerns on there. So which one am I going to put on there? Okay, like
Yeah, there's the sticking point because they're both fantastic movies. I really like both of those. And Inglourious was that was like a movie event at the time. What came out 2009? I don't think I knew anyone who didn't go see that movie. Like it was very much like a hit around our friend group at least. And
yeah,
it was one of those movies that like what's the word here? Like a point in time, it was the biggest thing in the world. I think.
yeah, I agree, and I still remember the first time I saw it, and I was just so blown away by that scene between Christoph
Oh,
Waltz
the opening
and
scene.
the opening scene. It
Oh, so
just
good.
completely blew me away, and the whole movie really does. So I'm not surprised at all to see this movie on here. I think it's one of the best World War II movies of the last 25
Hmm.
years. You know, one thing I thought about, Saving Private Ryan can't be on this list.
Nope, 1998.
Yeah.
It's not on
And so
here.
we're going back to 1999, right? Like I'm not even treating it by month.
I was
It's
gonna go
we're going
2000
Yeah?
because
Well, it's 2024.
I
You're
know, but
you're
2000's
you're
a year.
shortchanging yourself by an entire year if you
But
do that.
2000's a year, so 2000's one year. 2001's the second year, so
Oh, well that means no The Matrix on your list either.
it would. Yeah,
Wow. All right.
that's what I was thinking.
You gotta give me what's a date? What's the 25-year date that they're going off here then? So it's fall of 1999?
Yeah, that's what I would think. Because
Okay.
there's only two movies from
I
1999 on
wasn't getting
here.
that granular with it, but I
Yeah,
guess I probably should.
sorry, we don't have to. I just think I'm gonna go from 2000.
But like, so there haven't been a ton of World War II movies released in the last 25 years, but it is kind of unfortunate
There's a
that
there's a few, not
Saving
too many.
Private Ryan is
Oh,
26 because that's probably the
oh,
best World War II movie of the last like 40 years.
oh, I would say so. And like the ones that
One
came
of the
out,
best ever made.
like we had Dunkirk, Fury came out. I like that one, and that's not quite as the same level as the other ones, but there's a few. Nothing obviously to the extent that Saving Private Ryan was. Should have won Best Picture, but whatever. English Patient was
Fury,
fun.
the feel bad World War II movie of the summer.
You know it.
I'm telling you, that's like one of the darkest World War II movies I've ever seen.
It's not very joyful at all.
No, there's zero joy whatsoever in that thing. And like anytime some like peeks its head out, they're like, all right, let's smother that
Let's
joy.
smush that joy right now.
Yeah, but yeah, Dunkirk. I bet we see Dunkirk on this list.
I would think so. I would think so. But let's keep going. All right, you ready for number 20, my friend?
You're like Dunkirk, no.
Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? Nah. Number 20 from 2007 from director David Fincher, we have Zodiac.
Zodiac is such a good movie. I
It really
watched
is.
that a couple months ago for the first time since it came out, and I remember thinking when it came out, like, oh my god, this movie is boring. But it's
Mhm.
really not. It is just very complex, and it takes a grown person to see those complexities and to be impressed by those complexities. And I think that David Fincher is a director that, as I've grown in
You
my
appreciate more. Yeah.
love of film, I've grown to love everything he does a little bit more.
Right.
And I'm not surprised to see him on this list.
Yeah, my problem with that, when I first saw it, same thing. I thought it was boring, but I saw it at the drive-in. You know, that's not the right place to
Probably
see that
with
movie.
friends.
Yeah, maybe
It's
some alcoholic beverages were involved, but it's not
uh,
the right time to see that movie.
Zodiac is not a sit in the back having a beer, sit in the back of your car having a beer with friends movie.
No, but I watched it since then. I really liked it the other times I watched it, but that my first impression was not the right venue for it.
Yeah. I wonder if we're going to see any other David Fincher movies on here. I'm sure we will because you've got The Social Network, you've got Gone Girl, you've
Hmm.
got The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So there's plenty of possibilities for movies that could be on here. The problem being that despite him making so many good movies, you can't have all of his movies on here. You have to take it and say, okay, which ones do we put? And seeing Zodiac this early, I have to imagine we're not seeing more than one of those other movies. So which is the one that we're going to see? I bet it's Social Network. That was a big one for,
Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out.
yeah. All right.
All right, moving on. Going to the top 20. At number 19, and I gotta tell you, this surprised me. Number 19 is The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. Peter
Okay.
Jackson, 2001.
Now tell me, why does that surprise you?
Because I think 19's way too low for that, but I'm also biased.
You mean you think it should be higher on the list? Like
Oh
it
yeah,
should be closer to number one?
for sure. When I first saw this list, I was thinking it'd be a top 10 movie at minimum, and to see it down at 19 surprised me. I'll say.
Yeah. I agree. But it depends where they consider how these critics rate the Lord of the Rings movies,
Right.
you know? And I was kind of thinking about that in my head. Like, I don't even know if I would want to put all three on a list.
I'm
I
only
think I
doing
would
one.
just put the trilogy
Oh,
or something
okay.
like that, and
Yeah,
just like I can't eat up that many spaces on a list with Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
they're all fantastic. They all deserved. Well, all three of them could be on a top 25 list. I'd say it's kind
Right,
of just your
because
favorite flavor of
it
ice
may
cream.
be the best trilogy ever made.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say that that's my opinion, that it is a top three trilogy. Also, it's my favorite of the three. I know
That's
that's not the most popular opinion. I think most people think that Return of the King is the best, but this is my favorite because it has those moments
right.
that are very close, that
Hmm.
are very emotional, where it's a lot of people. There's a lot more scenes where people are just sitting around talking to each other that I really like. And the I really like, you don't always like the setting of the table during a trilogy, but the table setting scenes where they're just lining things up for the
Hmm.
rest of the trilogy, I think that's some of the best parts of it. The
And then
character building that they do.
completely agree. And they break it up with like the Nazgul chase, the fight with the goblins and such in the dwarf mountain there, and then
You
obviously
fool of a duck.
exactly that's where they should put the F bomb in. You were right. But yeah, so you're right though. Absolutely right. Completely agree. It's such a well done way of getting you into these characters that like Two Towers is solid and Return of the King's very good, obviously. But the first one, that first impact is just so. I'm with you. I think it's my favorite of the trilogy, and just because of that first is the first impact. It's the first you've seen these characters, so I think that matters.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything anybody could say about, like, if you look at all three of those movies, and I'm only doing this because I have to imagine those other two movies, at least one of those other two, probably Return of the King, we're going to see on this list. And the fact that we saw this one first, it makes me think, like, okay, where would I put them?
Hmm.
I don't think there's a single thing I could say to improve Fellowship of the Ring. You can do things to improve those other two movies.
Oh sure, absolutely.
I mean, everybody complains about the never-ending ending of Return of the King and how cheesy it is when he's laying in bed and everybody starts running in there, and and those aren't big. They're not big marks against the movie by any means. Like, it's a brilliant movie and it's definitely one of the best ever made, but you know,
you could have
you could improve it.
yeah, yeah, and like even like Two Towers with the Ents talking for years and a half, and it's a little boring there, but. That's a bit much. That part I always fast forward through. I'll admit to that. I fast forward to that part.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, like, so let me ask you this: when you watch a Lord of the Rings movie, do you watch the regular version or do you watch the extended version?
Depends how I'm feeling that day. I have both.
That's true. I really do like the extended versions too, because like and I guess that's the thing, is like sometimes you're in the mood for just like, okay, yeah, you know what? It's a rainy Sunday. Let's add 2 hours on
Let's add two
this,
hours. It's fine. Yeah, my
of them just sitting there
yeah.
talking. Like, I can do that.
Like last year, I showed the trilogy to my friend Holly for the first time, and I used the standard editions because I thought you don't want to start off with the long versions, and I enjoyed them. I hadn't watched them since then because when I've watched them on my own, I've watched the extended editions. But the first ones are, I mean, it's not the first ones. The non-extended editions are perfectly fine, completely good movies.
Yeah, and I think you need to. I think with all these things, you need to start with the regular version
Right.
for people. Like, when I watched Apocalypse Now over the weekend, and so I could show it to Sarah, and I had to start with the original because it's just way more accessible It is still a long movie, but if you introduce the extended version, her and I are sitting there for 3.5, 4 hours. She'll never do that, you know.
No, she went out. All right, you ready to move on down the list a little bit more?
Let's keep going. What number are we at?
We're at 18.
18, all right.
18. And at 18, we have Inside Llewyn Davis from 2013, starring Oscar Isaacs, directed by Joel and Ethan Coen.
Yep. Very good movie.
I have not seen this one, so I know I've seen the trailers. It's been on my list. It's just one of those ones that I always kind of forget about, you know?
Yep.
I like Oscar Isaacs.
Oscars.
Yep.
It won some Oscar Isaacs.
Yes. It was funny timing, but that happens.
Oscar Isaac is absolutely brilliant in this movie. It was back when he was just doing those award bait movies. I don't know if I'd call it award bait, but I mean it kind of is. Feels like. But
wasn't Ex Machina was back then too?
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
In a Violent Year.
Oh, yep.
If you've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
I think so.
I need to rewatch that because, in all honesty, that was another one when I first watched it that I was like, oh my! I walked in expecting Goodfellas, and it's not that.
No.
And I was younger, much younger when that came out, so like you know, there's a lot of things that like I said with the other movie, you expect it to be one. You expect if you walk in and expect Goodfellas, and then there's just scene after scene after scene of people talking. Sometimes you get bored with that.
Yeah, it's definitely not Goodfellas. All right, moving on down the list. Number 17 is a movie I quite enjoy, but maybe I don't know if you've seen it. It's Whiplash from 2014.
You know, it's funny you say that. I almost watched Whiplash last night. I have not seen Whiplash.
Okay, so I'll speak highly of the movie. J.K. Simmons gives one of the all-time bastard performances in cinema history. He's so very good in it. Miles Teller plays his protege. It's a jazz band setup where he's trying to be the best jazz drummer he can be. And basically, it's just those two. Like the movie is those two. There's other supporting characters like Paul Reiser shows up as a bit as the dad. And
good old Paul Reiser.
Good old Paul Reiser. He likes candy and his popcorn. That's his whole character arc.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Like I said, J.K. Simmons is so good. He won an Oscar for it. Well deserved. It's one that I've shown my parents, and they bounced off it hard. They did not enjoy it. But
no, why
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they don't like they didn't appreciate the jazz scenes or what. But yeah, they didn't enjoy it. But
they've been yelled at by some music teachers in their time, maybe.
It's possible. It is possible. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. That movie will be on my list. I'll let that out now. But big fan of that.
I have to watch it.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to 16 is one I haven't seen, although I know of it, and that is from 1999. So according to my list, this wouldn't be eligible. But Magnolia, starring Tom Cruise, Julianne Moore, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Do you know this movie?
Paul Thomas Giamatti. I do know this movie. I tried to watch it once and shut it off.
Yep. I never had the desire to watch it. Oh.
So the thing with this movie is I remember at the time when I tried to watch it, it was in the midst of like a lot of just bad things happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first scenes in it is Tom Cruise playing a like one of those alpha male public speakers.
Oh, sure, yeah. The trailer.
And I don't remember the trailer, but this is a long time ago.
It was.
But so he does this whole monologue where where you feel like you're sitting in like one of those alpha males speeches.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on for a couple minutes. At least it felt like an eternity. And I was sitting there with Sarah, and Sarah was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I was like, you know what? Neither do I.
I don't watch it. Okay. That's perfectly
because
fair.
I had heard that it was very good, but like I didn't really, other than like, so she didn't really have any reason to be interested in the movie. And that was all I was hanging. That was the only thread I was hanging on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, like 20 years ago, somebody told me this is a good movie, and so that like she was like, I don't like this one bit, and I was like, okay, we can shut it off. Let's do it.
Put it to rest.
I don't know what we watched, but I'm sure it was awesome.
All right, so moving past that one, at number 15 from 2022, we have Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Quality movie.
Was a phenomenon. Came out, like, dominated the Oscars. A multiverse movie at the time when everything was a multiverse movie, and this one was the Oscar one. I guess that's probably the best way to put it. Michelle Yeoh is in it. She's great. I'm so bad at these names. The Hugh Kwan, is that his name? Close to that at all?
Yeah, you're pretty close. It's like Ki-Hai Kwan, I think.
Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor, and now he's kind of everywhere, and I like that. I like seeing his career getting boosted by this movie.
Season 2 of Loki. He's got an action movie coming out soon.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I like this movie. I enjoyed the crap out of it. I bought it immediately on Blu-ray. Big fan of it.
Yeah, this movie's great, and it explores and dives deep into a ton of ideas, and it is unlike. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "This is unlike anything I've ever seen."
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it a couple times since, and it's very good. It's really rewatchable too. But
great cast overall, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised one bit to see it on this list. So yeah, I would say that it's the only reason one might not put this on their list is just because of how new it is.
Right.
2022. That's something I'm struggling with on mine is like, okay, and like it was the end of 22 as well.
It was.
So you struggle sometimes to put these new movies on because. On a list like this, you wanna think about things that stand the test of time, but like no, you got to put the 1 to 2 year movies on there too.
Rewatchability is a big thing. I think I've said it. I touched on it earlier a little bit, but I think that helps this movie a lot because if someone came to my house right now and said let's watch that movie, I'm in. Put it on.
Yeah.
So I think that shows the quality of the movie is rewatchability.
What if somebody came to your house right now and was like, let's watch The Whale?
Probably wouldn't join him on that adventure.
Yeah, I've actually never seen that movie.
I haven't either. Just again, no desire. I like Brendan Fraser, but
Yeah, it's one of those movies where like just nothing about it makes me want to watch it.
No,
and it also looks like it's going to make me like cry in like a way I don't want to cry.
Ugly cry.
Yeah. And just like it makes me feel like just like not good in so many ways.
Yeah, no one wants that. I want you to feel good. It's a weird statement. All right, moving on. Moving on. All right, number 14. We have a movie that I have missed and I've been meaning to catch, but just hasn't happened yet. From 2016 is Moonlight, directed by Barry Jenkins. I
haven't seen Moonlight either.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I heard Mahershala Ali is fantastic in it, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really talk to it.
It's been on my watch list for pretty much since like it got released.
Yeah.
And no, I haven't seen it, and it looks good, and I'm sure it is good.
2016 surprises me, to be honest with you. I thought the movie came out like 2020. You know what I mean? I didn't think it's been out for better part of a decade now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess in my head, if somebody asked me when that movie came out, I'd probably think 2018, but...
Yeah. But yeah, that's the one we both missed, so we'll just say respect it, just don't know much about it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 13. Here's a movie I know we've both seen. And number 13 from director Jordan Peele is Get Out.
Get Out is going to be on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Get Out is such a damn good movie. Now you've got me thinking too, like as we go through these, like somebody really thought Magnolia was a better movie than Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Like that's a stretch.
Not just somebody. Seems like a lot of somebodies.
Yeah. How did you rate there? Was there one guy that was like weighted differently than the others?
I mean,
And
that could be
that's
it.
how.
That could be it. Maybe if one guy had Magnolia at 1 and everyone else had it like 20, maybe it turns out to 16. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well, that is the worry about some of these things too. Is like if one person gives something on number one, it bumps it up the list.
Hmm.
Compared, like if it was like 1, and then a bunch of people had it at 12,
Hmm.
it's going to jump up to like number 7 or 8 just
Yeah,
because of that one person.
that one person. Which I think it's always like these lists are just a good way to get conversations going. You shouldn't take them as like Bibles, but I mean that always
Certainly
happens.
don't.
Yeah. So moving on, getting back to Get Out.
Yeah,
One of the biggest horror movies of the last 25 years, obviously. Landmark film, really put Jordan Peele on the map as a director, and I don't think it can be anything I can say about it hasn't already been said about it. It's one of those movies that 20, 30 years from now people will still be talking about.
yeah.
I think it's that
I
good.
think it's going to be. I think it's going to be talked about like, I think this one's going to have some staying power,
Oh yeah,
like Psycho level
man.
staying power for a long time to come. And it's like you said, it put Jordan Peele on the map.
Hmm.
I don't think he's made something that's quite as good as Get Out since. While I do like all of his other
Yeah,
movies, but
I've
Get
enjoyed
Out is
Nope
like
and Us. Yeah,
I think Get Out gives his career a lot of goodwill, and I think it's going to be the one that he's known for.
yeah. Until he beats it, make it look always good.
Yeah. Have
But
you seen Us and
yeah, yeah.
Nope?
Nope. Yeah. I
What do you think of those?
I liked Nope better than Us. I didn't dislike Us. I found Us to be kind of what's the word? Like not forgetful, not forgettable, but it was one I watched and I was just like, man, it's all right. But I really
Yeah,
enjoyed the creature. You know, I'm a big creature kind of guy, and like Nope's a creature movie, so
yeah.
I'm gonna like that one better.
When I watched Us, like it ended, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that makes sense.
I
Like, you know,
guess you could
like
call
and
that a
then
creature
like
feature too, but they're
I
kind of
read
reversed.
online, I was like, because I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then a lot of people online are like, well, the movie's a metaphor, and I'm like, I don't want my movie to be a metaphor, though. I want,
Just hit me with the head with a
like,
jackhammer.
like, like I don't know if I like that. Like, but Nope is good, but Get Out is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
So
that's the way to put it. It's his masterpiece thus far, and with you. I completely understand it being on this list, and it'll
yeah.
be one that'll be here for a while, I think. All right, moving on to the next one. Ooh, a second movie by Paul Thomas Anderson from 2007. There Will Be Blood.
Oh, I tried to get Sarah to watch that last night
Did you?
because, like, as we were going through this stuff, I was like, "There's some movies on here I want to watch again because I've only seen them once, if at all." And so I showed her the trailer for it. She's like, first of all, I feel like that trailer showed me everything. Second of all, let's watch something else."
Yeah, the trailer does show a
It's
lot.
not. It does, and I've abandoned my child.
It's abandoned my boy.
I've abandoned my boy. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
It's
Dana.
not. It's another one that's like not easy to watch,
Right,
but
and
you're watching it because you're seeing Daniel Day Lewis act
be great.
unlike
Yeah.
anybody's ever acted before.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's why you watch this movie because every scene he's in is impressive.
Oh yeah. He
Just
kills
to
it.
see him do it.
And I was talking about J.K. Simmons earlier from Whiplash. Daniel Day-Lewis is that this is one of the iconic movie monsters, not monster, but movie villains really. Daniel Plainview was his name in the movie, and he's just the worst, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's told like completely from his perspective too,
Mhm.
so that's always interesting to see.
Paul Dano's in that. Forgot about that.
He is in that, and that so he's one of those actors that I've kind of always you see, and you're like, this guy's a good actor,
Hmm.
and this is the movie that really put him on everybody's map as like, oh yeah, he like to be acting that well opposite Daniel Day Lewis, like
Hmm.
yeah, oh this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. All right, buddy. Moving on to number 11. Almost in the top 10. We're almost there.
Almost there.
Number 11 from Joel and Ethan Coen.
True Grit.
From 2007, No Country for Old Men.
I
To
was hoping True Grit would end up on here. I mean, if we're this high in True Grit's not here, it's not on the list.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
They're not gonna throw two of them in the top.
Yes, yeah, it's not here. I'll be honest with you.
All right.
But
okay, No Country for Old Men.
Yes,
is a great movie.
We just talked about iconic kind of villains. I mean, Javier Bardem is so menacing in that movie. I forget the name of his character now, but
Anton Chigurh.
That's it. How did I forget that? But yeah,
I don't remember anybody else's name, but
no,
I remember his.
Yeah, Llewellyn Moss. Come on, that's Josh Brolin's character, Llewellyn Moss. But yeah, it's a movie by the Coen brothers, obviously. Josh Brolin's character finds a bunch of money in the desert after a shootout has happened, and then he tries to take the money for himself, and then just bad things happen.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't take drug dealers' money.
No.
And in the process, sacrifices everything dear to him in an attempt to keep this money.
Yeah.
This is a great movie. The first time I watched it, I remember it was me, my sister, and my mom, and I rented it on like a Sunday afternoon, and I'm pretty sure I ruined everybody's day. I definitely ruined my mom's. Like, she hated this movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, she hated it. But it's not a feel-good movie, and it doesn't have like a feel-good ending by any means.
No, not at all.
But I've come to appreciate this movie so much over the years. I mean, yeah, you've got Josh Brolin, and this is one of the ones that really put him on the map for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He had done a ton of stuff before this too. I mean, but this is one of the ones where it was like, okay, this guy can really act. But I think he had done like that W movie and whatnot before this, but
at least around the same time.
Yeah,
and then True Grit he was in too.
He is in True Grit. But I still think this is going to be the one that he's known for in the long run.
Yeah.
Obviously you got Dune, but I think this one's really good.
This is his standout movie, kind of his career, right? Is what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is top 3 in his career for him. But I mean, I love him as an actor. I would watch him in anything.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson, great in this movie.
Great supporting
Tommy
role.
Lee Jones, great.
Being Tommy Lee Jones, man, he knows what to do and he sells it and he gets it done.
Yep. Great movie. I've read the book for this too.
Did you?
It's actually extremely faithful. The movie was, from what I recall.
All right.
Granted, I haven't read it in like 15 years, but
hey, at least you read.
I did it. I read a book.
I believed in you. All right, buddy. Moving to the top 10 at number 10 from David Fincher from 2010. Is The Social Network.
Social Network?
Yep.
Yeah.
You were right, dude. That's another one of those movies that, when it came out, everyone was talking about. It was a giant movie, not just on like the award season, it was just part of the American lexicon when it came out. And made Jesse Eisenberg into briefly one of the bigger stars, and then he kind of fizzled out a bit after that. But
made him into Lex Luthor, and then that ended his career basically.
Didn't go well.
That's the thing about it. Stardom, it gives and it takes.
Yes, it does. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Well directed, obviously. Andrew Garfield, Jesse Eisenberg, as I said, and it's one I can definitely like. That's one though. Like, do you really want to watch that movie that much? It's good.
I've been thinking I want to rewatch it.
Okay.
Because of just what I was saying before. Like, when you watch these movies and you start to pick apart those nuances. And David Fincher is just one of those directors that you watch his stuff and you are just so impressed by it.
Right.
And, I mean, so the score, I think it's worth watching for the score, too.
Oh, the music's well known.
The score is so good. It's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Mm-hmm. And they are that like go-to score duo now. And
which is weird.
They did this. They did his The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Right.
I think they might have done Gone Girl, but I'm not positive about that. But they did do The Killer. Did you see The Killer with Michael Fassbender that David Fincher did?
Not yet.
It is very good.
I need to watch it. That's been on my list.
Yeah, so I really do feel like they did Gone Girl. Gone Girl is a great movie too.
It is.
But you look at David Fincher's movies, and like he's one of those guys where a lot of people say like he will shoot a scene hundreds of times sometimes, and like he'll ask you to do something, and then like you'll do it 20 times, and then he'll like spin a vase by like 90 degrees and be like, now do it again 20 times,
That sounds exhausting, but I mean, it turns out well for him.
Well, it's just like what you had talked about previously with like with The Shining.
Yeah.
Every single thing that's there is there for a
On
reason.
purpose. Yep.
And everything that they're shooting these things over and over and over again, and they're it's all got a purpose. So whenever somebody does something on the screen, they're doing it because David Fincher asked them to.
Right.
Because that was his vision. You see, like every single piece that is there for a reason. So his movies are really impressive, and he's one of my favorite directors. And that's an opinion I didn't have probably 5 years ago. But
Right. Yep, I completely agree with it.
I really love his stuff.
Completely agree with it. All right, moving on. Number 9 from 1999 from Lily and Lana Wachowski comes The Matrix.
The Matrix made the list? All
Matrix
right,
made the
you
list.
got to evaluate what you're doing over there, buddy.
What? I didn't make the list.
Well, because you had said that you weren't taking it back. So they're keeping it in 1999. The Matrix is on my list.
All right, that's fine. You're saying I should evaluate. I got you. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're picking up what I'm putting down.
I do now. It took me a second, but it's been a long day.
So The Matrix, absolute classic.
Yeah.
It's on my list. It created so many things that action movies use to this day.
Right.
Started with that movie. I mean, you look at like the Max Payne video games, Bullet Time, all the slow motion action sequences that like all come back to that scene in The Matrix. There's so many things here that action movies used and live off of for 20 years.
It's a landmark movie, absolutely. It's one of those legendary movies. Even though like I don't like the sequels, I really haven't gotten hooked by any of the sequels as much as the first one. I've watched the first one 20 times easy probably since it came out, and never had a bad time with it.
The sequels get progressively worse with every entry.
Right.
Until you reach resurrections, and everything. You're just not in a you're not in a good movie anymore.
I didn't make it through that when I started it, and made it about halfway, I think maybe, and then I just kind of turned it off. I'm like, I'll catch the rest of this tomorrow, and I never went back to it.
Yeah, but yeah, The Matrix is great.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, I guess I could. Yeah, we'll see what I do. Moving on to number 8 here from 2006 from director Guillermo del Toro is.
Oh wait, let me guess.
Go for it.
Is it Pan's Labyrinth?
It is Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth is awesome. I love Pan's Labyrinth, and I'm so surprised it's this high on
That's
this list.
Really high, right?
So high.
And it's a good movie. I've seen it once. This is on my list of rewatching. I need to rewatch this movie because I liked it, and I don't think I've put in that same category, like 8th best movie of the last 25 years. That's something I should have more of a reaction to, but I just need to watch it again, I think.
Yeah. So that means this is the way my brain works.
Yeah.
Like you have to, like I said, you have to pick and choose with directors. I think that must mean that The Shape of Water is not on this list. If they put Pan's Labyrinth, what are we at, 6?
8. We got 7 left.
8. Okay. Well, I guess it's possible for The Shape of Water to be there. But The Shape of Water is great too. But Pan's Labyrinth, wonderful, wonderful movie. Yeah. And it is so different than I ever expected it to be. But it is very much a Guillermo del Toro vision. This movie's all his vision. And it feels like you're watching a fairy tale. But like a fairy tale like they used to be told, where there's a lot of dark stuff.
Like German fairy tale.
Right, but it still has that like whimsical feeling to it. So there's so many things happening, and Sarah loves this movie too. And I almost didn't expect her to, but yeah,
huge fan of it. Need to watch it again. I need to watch it again. All right, so moving on. This one I don't think you're gonna be able to get if I give you like the year and director's name, but let's see what happens.
Try me.
From 2001, from director Hayao Miyazaki, is a movie called Spirited Away.
Oh, Spirited Away. I've never seen this movie, but I've wanted to.
I haven't seen it either. It's been on my list. The studio Ghibli, I think they're called. This
Yeah.
is one of their movies, and they're like the Japanese uh, Disney, pretty much.
Yeah.
And their movies are all really well received, and this is apparently the best of them, and I haven't seen it, and I feel bad about
Yeah.
that.
So Sarah and I have almost watched this a couple times, but I think one time when we were going to watch this, we watched it's like The Cat Returns
Yeah.
or something. That's what it's called.
hmm
And that was a lot of fun.
That's a good movie. I like that one too.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see it this high,
I know.
but I guess that means I've got to prioritize watching that. So take with I'll tell you, despite what I said about animated movies not necessarily being my thing, when you introduce one that is it makes you feel a certain type of way, and I think that's the important thing with animated movies, like especially those ones, they make you feel really good, and I like that every now and then to watch a movie that really makes me feel good.
A little sidebar. Have you ever seen My Neighbor Totoro?
No, I don't think so.
That's a good one. But that's from like the 80s, but I like that one a lot. All right. And this next one is one I know nothing about.
Okay.
Nothing at all. It's from 2000,
Okay.
from director Kar-Wai Wong. And it might not be an English language movie. It's called In the Mood for Love.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of this. I have never heard of this. I wish I had something more to say about it. But yeah, I don't know it.
What do they say? Does the
Synopsis says in 1962, journalist Cho Mo-wan, I'm bad with names, I apologize, and his wife move into a Hong Kong apartment, but his wife's away on business, and he starts alluring a potential,
suitor?
yeah. So
Oh, that's not good.
that doesn't look fun, but that's what it is. So that seems like an enjoyable movie. Just cheat on your wife for 2 hours, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what my wife and I aren't watching tonight, and I'll tell
Is
you
that
what
one?
won't be on my list.
Is that one? Yes.
I mean, there's a lot more to a plot or to a movie
Sure.
than a plot, so I'm sure it's just fine of a movie, but
Yeah. And I hate to do it, but I feel like we're gonna run through these two real quick because at number 5 is from 2019 from director Celine Sciamma, A Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Okay. I've not seen this, but I am aware of it.
You're aware of this one?
A lot of people really like this movie.
Okay, I know nothing about it. Do you
I
remember?
don't really know anything about it,
Okay.
but I know it's a lot of people like it. I remember hearing about it at the time.
1770, a young daughter of a French countess develops mutual attractions to a female artist. So that is what you're going for that movie. So
Okay.
I don't know it. I would watch
Who's
it.
in it?
No names I recognize,
Okay.
and they're also very French, and I don't want to ruin them.
Yes.
You ready to move on to number 4? Number 4 we can talk about.
Let's talk about number 4.
All right, here we go. From director Christopher Nolan from 2008.
Wait. Oh, this is Inception, right?
It's not Inception.
2008.
It is
Is it The
Dark
Prestige?
Knight.
Oh, all right. The Dark Knight's awesome.
The Dark Knight. And
It surprises me so much if this is the one they go with, and like The Prestige and Inception and all these other things are not on this list.
3 left. We got 3 left, buddy.
It's like Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, Magnolia 2.
You guessed it. You nailed that, actually.
Yeah. So The Dark Knight is great.
Mm.
So one of the things I struggle with my list is I have to finally like come to terms with whether I like the Dark Knight or the Batman better, and I feel like I can't put both on the list. I kind of don't feel like I can.
I mean, it's your list.
It is my list, but the Dark Knight is an amazing movie, and a lot of people have been kind of coming back around to not liking it for some reason. I've been hearing a lot, like
It's weird.
saying that like that they don't think that the Christopher Nolan movies have aged well. And honestly, like I watched it pretty recently because I watch it probably at least once a year, and I love these movies, man.
Yeah.
You can. There's certain things that you can detract from Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises that you can improve, but I don't think there's a single thing you can improve with the Dark Knight.
That's the thing. Like, you nailed it right there. I'm a big fan of Batman Begins. Dark Knight Rises is fine, but you're right. This movie had all the perfect ingredients in it. It had Heath Ledger stealing the scene as the Joker. It had Aaron Eckhart's Harvey Two-Face. That was fantastic. You know, Michael Caine
Yeah.
as Alfred. Even though he was in the first movie, he really shines here. And I think it belongs probably around this point in the list. I think so.
Yeah.
After two movies that we don't know that much about, this is nice to see that this one was this high because that's number four is for a comic book movie. That surprised me still, even though I know it was a huge movie and it was Oscar nominated. It was like the first of like the comic book
Well,
movies to be Oscar nominated.
didn't it win? Didn't Heath Ledger win for Best Supporting Actor?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
an Oscar winner.
Oscar winner. Yeah,
Not just
you're right. I
so.
shortchanged it.
Hans Zimmer.
Oh yeah.
Hans Zimmer his score is great in it. Yeah, this movie is so good. Just starting from the first scene there,
Mhm.
where there's like the heist that you
Oh
watch
gosh,
through.
yeah.
It just feels so. It's just like a crime thriller, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah,
And it's
that
great
was
to
yeah.
to see Christopher Nolan dig into that stuff.
Yeah, and it had oh geez, I'm forgetting his name, but that the one actor, the guy who goes,
The
"Who
guy
do
from
you-"
Buffalo,
Yes, the guy from Buffalo, exactly what I was going to talk about. What do you believe in?
Fincher,
Yeah,
William
that's
Fit,
Fichtner,
Fitchner.
something like that.
Man,
We should have had that better than that. But that's okay.
we should have had that. Yeah,
Edit that out.
William Fitchner. I
That's
want
it.
to say.
I think that's
what I'll
right.
settle on.
All right, but yeah, I think we touched enough on that one, so we can move on to
Top
number three. Top
All right.
three.
What are
And
what are we thinking we got here? We got three movies left. What
Right.
are we missing?
You're
It very
expecting-
much surprises me that Captain Phillips hasn't been on this list anywhere. I don't know if it's a top three though. That's the problem.
right.
But Captain Phillips was a damn good movie. They'll probably Return of the King has to be one of these, I'd imagine. What else? Is there anything else we've been missing?
Well, you brought up
already-
Christopher
you already
Nolan.
know what these are, right?
I do, but I can play along. Play
Mad
possum.
Max Fury Road hasn't been brought up yet, and that's
Hasn't been brought up yet.
neither has Gladiator.
No Gladiator. No
Jesus
Departed.
Christ. My list is going to be so different than this list.
And that's fine. That's a good thing.
All right, what am I going with? I'm going to go with. Jesus, do I think Return of the King is here? I'm going to go with Gladiator. I'm going to go with Interstellar and Mad Max Fury Road.
Well, I can tell you, you got one of the three.
One? Just
One
one?
of the three. So
Okay, let's take it from the top. Number three. What do we got?
digging into number three from director David Lynch from 2001
Mulholland
Cut.
Drive.
comes Mulholland Drive. Yep.
Mulholland Drive is a movie I need to rewatch. I watched that when I was way too young. I watched it at like 22, and I was like, "What is this movie?"
Yeah.
And I've never watched it since.
I watched it once too. I remember thinking that was a weird movie, and then like I heard about how brilliant it was, and I need to go back and watch it. Like Sam, I probably watched it around the same time as you did, and it just
Right.
did not stick at that time. But I probably my older self probably would like it better. But yeah, I can't really say much because I don't remember much about it. Is this is the one with that one scene where the guy's like talking about a dream he had in like the coffee shop, and then he goes outside and like gets scared to death. That scene's real good. Because we just watched.
I see that so often on social media.
Yeah.
That video.
Yeah. The reason I reference it is because I just saw the Shudder had the top 100 scariest movie moments.
Oh
and
that
movie was on that moment was on there, and it's like not really a scary movie, but that scene is pretty intense.
Yeah, I need to watch that again because like one of the things about it is that like everybody says that the movie is a puzzle, and all these scenes are cobbled together to tell a story that isn't linear. It's telling a story that you're not necessarily seeing, and you've got to piece it together, judging by I haven't seen it in so long, so I don't remember most of them, but like judging by the colors or what people are wearing, or like okay, they're in a room that's blue this time, so that's supposed to represent this, and it's telling their feeling of this, and so I feel like I would really be into that. And it's just, I remember my mom actually said the other day, she was like, when you were younger, you were super into this movie. Have you watched that lately? And I don't even remember being into it. Like, I really don't, because it was so long ago that this came out. When did it come out?
2001. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 23 years ago.
Yeah.
I do not remember what I was like 23 years ago, even.
Oh, it's probably insufferable. Probably an insufferable prick.
Anyways,
all right.
Let's. What do we got? Number two,
from 2019, from director Bong Joon-ho. Parasite.
I haven't seen Parasite. Would you believe that?
I would believe it because I also have not seen Parasite. And I got it even better than that. I bought Parasite. I own it. It's right over there. And I just haven't watched it. I like that director. Like, he's the guy who did the Host movie I really like with the monster in the river the chemicals make.
Yeah, and the underwater monster.
It's just one of those movies every time. There's probably been 20 times I told myself, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch this movie. I just haven't done it yet.
You know what the problem is I don't actually know what it's about.
It's a social, it's a class struggle thing.
Yeah. No, I get that.
The poor don't have anything in that area.
I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, I think that's all I know about it, so I can't really go much further than that.
Social commentary.
Social commentary. Yeah. That classic, actually there is a lot of movies about that.
Well, I do know that Dan likes his social commentary mixed with some monsters, like zombies or underwater creatures.
I do.
So maybe that's what's really missing from Parasite.
I mean, if they had an actual parasite monster,
right?
Number one, easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like if these people were possessed by an alien slug that was actually causing them to do put down these people from a social,
best movie.
I would have watched it years ago.
Yeah, I probably have it tattooed across my chest. So yeah, it's number two, a movie I've been really meaning to watch, and I'm not surprised it's this high, but also I'm kind of the same side of the coin. This is the number two movie of the last 25 years. Is this movie? It seems kind of high,
Yeah.
But also,
I will say I looked around at people's lists online where I was like, okay, what does everybody else think? There's nothing you can search that's going to tell you the movies made in the last 25 years. You've always got to dig through some trash to figure it out. But everybody's favorite movie of the last 10, 20 years it's always on the list. So I feel like I've got to watch it.
I got to watch it then.
Okay, so
we're at number one, buddy.
We're at number one. So what did I say? I said Gladiator, Mad Max Fury Road, and another one that probably isn't it, right?
Inception.
I said Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar, you did.
So it's probably not Interstellar, even though that would surprise me that it wouldn't be on this list, but it can't be number one. So I guess the number one. So is it Gladiator, or is it Mad Max Fury Road? It's got to be Gladiator, right?
From 2015. From director George Miller. Number one is Mad Max Fury Road.
That is crazy to me that this made number one. It's definitely on the list. It's always on the list. But number one, that blows me away.
And the sequel just came out this year, and the sequel was good, and it bombed. You know, like if this movie was like critics love this movie and everyone I've ever shown this movie liked it, I don't know how that movie bombed. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the first one, not
Well,
the first one,
and
but
we did a whole episode on why we think that movie bombed. So if anybody wants to know, go back to that.
right.
But Mad Max Fury Road was a phenomenon,
Oh yeah,
right? Like
the practical effects were everyone was talking about them as they should have, and
nobody was talking about the practical effects for
no, Furiosa.
Furiosa.
They were not, sadly.
And when they were like, "Hey, how did these things devolve?" Like,
But yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this movie a few times on the channel. It's one we both love. It's one that deserves all the love it gets. Charlize Theron is the main character. I know it's Mad Max. It's not. It's all about her character and her trying to get those other wives of Immortan Joe away from him. And it's a chase movie. It's fantastic. And it's a contender for my top spot, but I'm surprised the critics have it at number one. I guess I go with.
I am as well. As you say that like Charlize Theron is the star of it.
Hmm?
Maybe that's the real problem with Furiosa.
Is that she's not in it?
Is that she's not in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Charlize Theron is a bona fide movie star now. She's one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. The fact that they would make a movie about her character and not put her in it, she established that character.
I mean, completely fair. It should have been. She should have at least had a first right of refusal to it, instead of no disrespect to Anna Taylor-Joy, but the character was already established by this actress. It should be her doing the role again.
Yeah. If you can make that movie again, you know what I say? A 3-act structure. You have her as a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You have her as, 19 years old or whatever. That's
Sure.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Okay.
Third act, bring in Charlize Theron. And it leads into Fury Road. People will go see that if they see Charlize Theron and Anya Taylor-Joy in the trailer.
That's actually a good point. You might have just solved the problem, Pat.
I solved the problem.
Yeah, but yeah, not much more I can say about that movie. Again, it's fantastic. I watched it probably more than any movie I've watched in the last 10 years, I'd say.
It's great. It's so good that they even released a black and chrome version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And not every movie gets that. What do we got? We got that. We got Logan. We got
Godzilla
minus one.
Yeah.
It surprises me Godzilla minus one ain't on this list.
Well, it just came out, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that too.
Well, and that's the thing. Is like you overlook all the recent ones because you're like, well, will it stand the test of time? I mean, think it will.
We can talk about some things that we thought would be on here that aren't. Obviously, Gladiator. I think it's the big omission. We're both gonna.
Man, that blows my mind.
Right.
That is like it is so good. It is one of the best movies I think ever made.
Right. So that's not on here.
Make a list of the best movies of the last 50 years. That's going to be on there.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Once you get past 30 years, I don't really watch that many. So
no.
Actually, I mean, more and more now that I think of it, I watch a lot of 70s movies. So
I watch a lot of 80s movies just from my growing up with my parents. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest omission I will say right off the bat is that just the one Lord of the Rings movie, one Marvel movie, which fair, critics are gonna like what they like. But what else? No Inception, no Interstellar.
No Inception, no Interstellar, no The Prestige.
No
Have
comedies.
you seen The Prestige?
The Prestige is very good.
Prestige is awesome.
No comedies at all.
I had comedies on my list, and because I started really at like 50 movies, and you got to whittle it down, and the comedies are always the first to go.
Yeah, fair.
I still have one comedy on there. You want to guess what it is?
Anchorman?
No.
Okay. All right. It's not Anchorman. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story?
It's 2 directors.
Oh.
And they are on this list. So it's like a dead giveaway.
So it's the Coen brothers, right? Which movie am I forgetting? Well, all right. Stuck on you. I respect it.
You can't guess it?
I'm just drawing a complete blank right now, my friend.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh yeah, that's 25.
That was made in the year 2000.
Okay, perfect. That's a good movie. That's a very good movie. I had
It is
completely
a very
forgotten
good
about that.
movie. And there's
I
no
should have got
telling
that.
whether I still have a lot of whittling down to do. So who knows if that'll actually continue to make the list. But yeah, that's a great movie. I brought up Captain Phillips earlier, and it
Mhm.
surprises me that wouldn't be here because I think that not having I mean we didn't have any Tom Hanks on this list, right?
No, we didn't.
And so not having any Tom Hanks on here feels like we got robbed. So was there no Martin Scorsese on here?
I don't think so. We'll double
Wow.
check. Double
Well,
checking.
it's
Yeah.
like you said earlier. There's no Departed.
Nope.
I think that's a big omission.
No.
Children of Men was on a lot of people's lists that I
That's a
saw,
good
and
movie.
I really like Children of Men a lot. But it doesn't surprise me it wasn't here, and I don't know if it'll make it onto mine either. But it is a very good movie.
No Scorsese.
No Michael Mann,
Nope.
so no
One
Collateral
Tarantino.
or Heat wouldn't be on here. I think that was out of.
Oh, he was like 94.
Yeah, that wouldn't. But Collateral
Yeah, Collateral.
could have.
I believe Collateral's 2002.
No Quentin Tarantino.
No, well, one. Inglourious.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no Django, no Hateful Eight, no
Nope.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
wow.
No Training
That's
Day.
surprising. No Training Day. No, I mean no Denzel, right?
No Denzel.
He's made some damn good
He
movies in the
has.
last 20 years.
You brought up war movies, and one of my probably favorite war movie of the last 25 years didn't make it. You want to try to guess that? It's not World War II, but it's war.
1917.
No, but I do like that movie a lot. That's a good call. I was gonna say Black Hawk Down. I thought that movie would probably have a chance at it.
Yeah, that's is that Ridley Scott as well?
Ridley Scott. Yep.
Yeah. No Ridley Scott on this list.
No,
They don't like him.
no, they don't.
No Prometheus on this list.
That's not surprising. Come on. Now you're taking
Did
the
you
piss.
see he just released something the other day and he
Yeah,
was like, yeah, we were kind of asleep at the wheel on that one.
pretty much. I saw that.
It's like, yeah,
Like
no shit, man. Like
we're all aware you were asleep at the wheel on
for the sequel too. Like
that. You gotta respect the man, but
yeah. Okay, but your yeah, Black Hawk Down.
yeah,
Yeah, that's very good. I like that movie a lot. Tom Hardy's in that too. Small
he
role,
is.
but he's in it.
There's a lot of actors in that movie. That
Yeah.
like
Eric Bana.
the guy who plays Jamie Lannister's in that movie.
He is. He's one of the helicopter
Yep.
pilots.
Orlando Bloom has a small role. Of course, there's Josh Hartnett. We all like that.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom's the dude that falls out of the helicopter.
Right. Starts the whole
That
thing off.
causes everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Great movie.
Sam Elliott.
hmm Tom Sizemore. Before that became not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, he passed away now, so
Right. Did he really?
yes, a few
Oh,
years ago.
my bad.
We had Denis Villeneuve,
hmm
but
Just one.
just one. Surprises me.
No Shape of
Surprises
Water.
me a lot. No Shape of Water.
Yeah. I thought for sure that'd be real high on that list, and it's a very good movie. But
It is a very good movie. Yeah.
I mean, no Taika Waititi, no What We Do in the Shadows, no Jojo Rabbit.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, Jojo Rabbit's it's a good movie, but is it a top 25 of the last 25 years? I don't think so.
All right.
And I honestly like if somebody recently watched Thor: Love and Thunder, they might not. The thing about making a bad comedy is that it makes people think that like was he ever really funny? You know,
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Mike Myers.
hmm
I watched The Love Guru, and
No one do it.
it pretty much ruined Mike Myers for me.
Those are different movies.
Yeah,
The Love Guru with Michael Myers.
would have been a better movie.
That's good. But yeah, I mean, good.
Nothing.
I was just gonna say, like, it. Other than those two at like 5 and 6, those two movies, which I assume are foreign language films that we haven't seen. Most of them we've seen between us. There's just a couple that we both haven't seen
No
outside
Ethan
of it.
Hawke.
No Ethan Hawke. No, you're right. He did that Boyhood movie, which is surprising that's not on there.
I was just about to say that I'm surprised Boyhood wasn't on here.
Yeah.
Because that is a filmmaking feat right there.
Mm-hmm.
To film a movie over the course of, what is it, like 12 years or something?
Yeah, I believe it was 12 years.
Yeah, like I finally watched that movie last year, and it is so impressive to watch all these actors get back together and come back into these characters,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
I agree. It's a very good movie. Well worth your time.
Yeah, and I love Ethan Hawke. I think Ethan Hawke is one of the most reliable actors out there. If you put him in your movie, you know, A, it's going to be a good script because he doesn't really join bad scripts.
No.
But B, you know that he's going to bring it.
Oh, he's going to bring it. Absolutely.
He's filming The Black Phone too right now.
I know. Excited about that. I really like The Black Phone.
Yeah, it's very good. But yeah.
What else? So I did mark down here, like, of their top 10, I hadn't seen 4 of the top 10. And outside of that, it was just Moonlight and The Tree of Life I hadn't seen. Oh, and Paddington, but...
Yeah. When you had said The Tree of Life, I thought of The Fountain. That's from 2006. Almost surprised that's not on this list.
The Hugh Jackman one?
The Hugh Jackman one. Darren Aronofsky. No Darren Aronofsky on the list.
Nope. All surprised.
He directed The Whale. Yeah, he
all comes back around.
He's done some bangers.
Yeah.
He's got The Fountain. He's got Mother. He's got Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, and The Whale. All 5 of those in the last 20 years, and not a single one of them made this list.
Black Swan's actually very surprising that you admit it. You bring it up. I hadn't thought of it, but that's a movie I would think would be on this list, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's on a lot of people's list. I've actually never seen it.
I saw it once. It was good.
Yeah. But, you know, like you said, it's all subjective.
Yeah. It's a conversation starter, which is what I like.
Yeah.
So you and I are going to go and make our own list and then see how they compare, right?
That's right. So we'll put our own list together. We'll present those to each other. And I think we're probably going to do that in about 2 weeks.
All right.
And next week we can get together to talk about Gladiator 2.
Heck yeah.
So
Excited
I look
for
forward to that.
Yeah.
You have your tickets, right?
Dude, you know where I live. I don't have to get tickets.
Yeah. I have my tickets. I'm going to it's called Cinema Cafe.
Cinema Bun.
They're like it seems like they're almost like an Alamo Drafthouse style.
Oh, cool.
But I haven't been to Alamo Drafthouse, and I've never been to one of these. But the whole thing is like you can get like food and drinks and everything.
That's awesome. I went to one of those. Actually, I went when I was in Virginia Beach, hanging out a couple of years back. So
was it a Cinema Cafe?
It was. Maybe it'd be the same
good?
one. I had a good time.
Nice. Well, that's where we're going. So Sarah and I are going there Thursday night.
No, very cool.
Yeah.
Try to remember what I watched. I can't remember what I watched there. I just remember having beers and watching it from like a very comfy seat.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Is you can have beers while you watch the movie, or an ice cream sundae, whatever you're.
Whatever you're into. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else you want to cover?
No, bud. Did you have anything else you want to bring up, like a physical media showcase?
Well, I got some handy if you want to run through one quick.
Sure. Yep. I was just gonna say for my birthday, Holly got me something that finally came in. I guess she had to order it, but it's still in the box. But she got me this.
Oh, would you look at that? That's very close to the camera, and I can't tell what it is
Oh,
except it's got Gambit on it.
Is that better?
Yeah. What is it? Is it an action figure?
It's a bust.
Nice.
Yeah. So I gotta find the right spot for it, but yeah, pretty excited about that. So that's my birthday present
on your shoulder, so we can walk around with you at all times.
Exactly.
Like almost like a little parrot.
That's the best idea I've heard you say in a while.
There we go. So I got the Jaws Steelbook. So I was pretty excited about this. I was mad that I missed the bus on this a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that it was back available. So I grabbed it and I got it off gruv.com, GRUV.com. And it's got a digital version. It's got a Blu-ray version. I'm starting to wonder why they keep sending these with like this Blu-ray version is going to do nothing for me. But anyways, I got it. So it is what it is.
They've been sending DVDs with Blu-rays for a while too, so sorry, hiccups
true.
all of a sudden.
Do not send me a DVD at this point. Although my 4K player does upscale it, so I watched when I watched Apocalypse Now the other day. That was the DVD, but my Blu-ray player upscales it so that it looks at least 1080p.
Nice.
Doubles at least doubles the resolution of the thing. So that's pretty cool. But it's got bonus features, so I'm pretty excited about this. Now I just hope I can grab the Jaws 2 Steelbook, and we'll be in business.
Oh, heck yeah. Don't need 3.
Yeah, or 4.
No.
The other thing I wanted to grab, because I think it's hilarious, is we were talking last episode about Idle Hands, them doing a remake, and I was unpacking some boxes, and I came across my Idle Hands CDs.
Oh, dang.
Soundtrack. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I got to bring this on there. Because it's got Blink 182, it's got The Offspring, Rob Zombie, Static X, The Vandals, Motley Crue. It's got a bunch of stuff on here.
Which Static X song's on there?
Which one do you think is on here?
I'm going to guess probably that'd be prime Push It territory.
It is Push It.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't push it.
Yeah, don't push it.
There's a cover of Mama Said Knock You Out on here by a band, and I remember liking it. At the very least, it's pretty funny. But
that's fun.
Dragula is the Rob Zombie song.
Of course, yeah. That all checks out. I think that was in the movie, definitely.
It is. They come in when Seth Green and the guy that plays Happy Hogan in the Daredevil show are smoking weed together. And
that's right.
They're watching the video on the music video on TV.
Holy crap. I had not made that connection. You're absolutely right. Wow.
Guy.
That's why he looks so familiar. I could never place that.
That's it.
Oh, wow. I guess I could have just Googled it, but that's not how I do things. I like to just kind of sit and figure it out.
Do it. We decided to talk about it. Talk it through.
Exactly. It's a better way to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, let's wrap this episode up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dan.
Of course, my
friend. I appreciate you taking the time. This was a fun episode, fun list to go through. So thank you for the idea. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Excited to see what our lists are going to do. I think it's going to be similar, but I think we'll have a couple of that will be standouts from each other.
Well, as most people know at this point, there will be a lot of things on this list that will not be on our list.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a fair amount of mixing it up. I was worried that it would just be, just like a take 2 of this list. But having seen this one, I'm like, oh, no, mine's going to be very different.
No, my initial sketches, there's a few, but.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. And everybody, please follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, Threads. I'm at Bark Night Podcast. And please like and subscribe. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.